Meghan Markle's estranged sister has begged her to stop watching and doing nothing after their father was rushed for emergency treatment after he suffered a Samantha Markle, 57, compared her sibling's lack of action to elder abuse after she was accused of failing to contact her since news first broke of Thomas Markle's ailing health earlier. Retired lighting director Mr. Markle, 77, who lives in Rosarito, Mexico, was struck down and lost his speech only a week before he had been due to fly to London for the Queen's Platinum Jubilee celebration. It is not yet known whether Meghan, 40, who is estranged from him, will go to his bedside at a clinic in Chula Vista, California, only a few hours' drive from the home she shares with Prince Harry in Montes. But speaking to GB News Stan Wootton tonight, Samantha Markle became emotional as she spoke of Meghan's negligence and accused her of failing to contact the family following her father has been through so much, she explained. 2 heart attacks, a pandemic and now a stroke. None of us have heard from Meghan. That's negligence. If she can't find it in her heart or have the moral conscience to step forward, then shame on her. He doesn't have a lot of time. She's going to have to live with that for the rest of her life. Ms. Markle was contacted for comment. When asked by Dan if she felt Meghan should offer to help with the medical costs moving forward, Samantha said, "She sees all of this. I'm getting the feeling that I would be spinning my wheels to try and appeal to her heart. She could have contacted him to work things out at any time, and she has an apostrophe T. How can she watch him suffer like this? Who does that?" Mr. Markle's blood pressure had been high in the preceding days. It was said it means that Mr. Markle will miss the celebrations in London just as he missed Meghan's wedding to Harry in 2018 after suffering. Mr. Markle, who lives in Rosarito, Mexico, was taken by ambulance across the border to the U.S. 30 p.m. on Monday. His son Thomas Jr., 55, was with him and is at the hospital near San Diego, while Samantha was last night said to be flying in from her home in Florida. In the footage posted online, Mr. Markle is seen lying on a stretcher wearing an oxygen. 2 paramedics try to lift him while speaking in Spanish and ask him what his name is. Somebody behind the camera responds that his name is Thomas. Speaking in English, one of the paramedics says, "I'm going to be you're going to the U.S." Mr. Markle was due in London next week and was to have been a guest on TV during coverage of the Jubilee. The trip would have fulfilled his long-held wish to visit Windsor Castle, Mail Online. Stan Wootton wrote. His health, however, seems certain to have dashed that hope, just as it scuppered Mr. Markle's plans to walk Meghan down the aisle in 2018 when he was forced to pull out of the ceremony. He underwent surgery to repair the damage and Prince Charles stood in for him, performing the father of the bride's duties during the wedding ceremony. Mr. Markle has endured a difficult relationship with Meghan and her husband Prince Harry, whom he has previously accused of being snobby. He and his youngest daughter have not spoken since before the wedding, when they were texting while he lay in bed at the hospital, he has claimed. According to Mr. Markle, at that point they pretty much said goodbye and Harry told him, "If you had listened to me, this wouldn't have happened." The Sussexes were said to have been angry at Mr. Markle selling photos of himself to a paparazzi agency in the run. Last month he announced he was flying to the UK for the royal celebrations and said he wanted to meet Harry and Meghan, who will be attending, along with their son Archie, 3, and 11-month-old daughter Lilibet. Mr. Markle said he also wanted to meet Prince Charles and joked that they had both been ghosted by our. Speaking to GB News from his home in Rosarito at the time, Mr. Markle said, I'm going to show my respect for the Queen and I'm going to make sure that the Queen understands that my entire family respects the Queen and we admire them and we want them to know that's how we feel about them and that's how we feel about." He added that he felt he had a right to meet his grandchildren. In her interview with Oprah Winfrey in March last year, Meghan talked about the betrayal she felt when it emerged that her father had been working with a photo. She said, "We called my dad and I asked him if he talked to the tabloids, and he said no, absolutely not, and I said, you know the institution has never intervened for anything for us, but they can try to go in and kill this story, but if they do this once we're not going to be able to use that same leverage to protect our own kids one day. I just need you to tell me and if you tell me the truth we can help." According to Meghan, Her father wasn't able to do that, and she said his refusal to answer was so hard for me to